Hi everyone, let's take a look at the compound interest formula for just a couple minutes. This is a great formula to know. It's a great formula to memorize. It's going to help you understand how loans and interest rates work. It's a basic formula that is a little bit more complicated because of some of these fractions and exponents, but let's just quickly define some of these things. The A stands for the amount that you're going to get out. Okay, so it's your final amount. The P stands for the principal. That's your initial amount. So if great grandma Judy is giving me $1,000 and I invest it, that would be my principal. And let's say after a certain amount of years, maybe 5 years, I now have $1,200. That would be my amount. That's what I'm getting out. Now this little mess right in here is a little complicated, but all it stands for is 1 plus my rate. Make sure that you change your rate to a decimal. So you're always taking your rate percentage and you're dividing by 100. Remember, percent is per 100. Then I take my rate as a decimal and I divide it by n. Now, n is the number of times that the interest is compounded per unit t. And t is time. So let's kind of look at what n could be. Let's say that I want to invest my money for 10 years. That would be T. Now let's say that it's compounded monthly. That means in 1 year, in one year, I'm compounding it 12 times. So every month I'm getting interest. Every month I'm getting interest. Every month I'm getting interest. So this number down here would be 12, and this number would be 12, and this number here would be 10. Let's say that I am investing and I'm getting an interest semi-annually. Okay, semi-annually would be twice a year. So I would have a 2 here and a 2 here. Let's say it's compounding daily. In the time unit of the year, there are 365 days. So it means every day I'm getting interest on my interest. And so this n value would be 365. Okay, so let's take a look at how this works in an example. Let's say you have $5,000 and it is deposited into a savings account at an annual interest rate of 5%. And it is compounded monthly. The value of the investment after 10 years would be what? Okay, so my initial amount is $5,000, and that is my principal, $5,000 right there. The rate is 5%, so it's 5 out of 100, which is 0.05. I am investing it for a total of 10 years, so that's my T equals 10, but it is being compounded monthly. So my n value is 12. All right, if we plop that into our formula, A is equal to my principal times 1 plus my rate divided by 12 to the nt, which is 12 times t. And a lot of students say, oh my goodness, what do I do now? What do I start with? How do I know what to do first? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to kind of split this up, and I'm going to show you how you can use your Google calculator to solve this quickly. Okay, so here is Google Calculator, and you can just search Google and grab him. And I'm going to stretch my screen. This way you can see what I am putting up here in my search engine. Okay, so the search engine is actually handy for getting started on Google. Or you can actually also, you can type things in just like this. But there's actually some faster ways to get your answers. Okay, when you're dealing with these problems with parentheses and fractions, my first suggestion is you want to go inside any parentheses. Remember, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So do anything inside your parentheses first, and then you've got your exponents here. So my suggestion, let's do this. I'm going to do 0.05 divided by 12. There's two ways you can do it. I can just click it here, 0.05 divided by 12, okay, and I can get that. Another way that's even faster is I can just highlight it. I can copy. Up here in my search engine, I can go equals, paste, and Google Calculator will calculate it already, okay? Then I need 1 plus my answer. So I'm going to do 1 plus my answer, okay? So now that's taken all of that information. Okay, I'm now going to take that to the 12 times 10. So 12 times 10 is 120. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, I want to take this mess here to the 120. So this is my to the button, to the 120. Okay, and then, so that's this to the 120th. And then I need to multiply by 5,000. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to multiply by 5,000. And what do we end up with? We end up with the same answer, 8,235.05. Here's another trick you can do. And let's see, I'm going to take this whole thing here, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to paste it in here. The trick here is that Google, to do exponents, you want to use this caret or this hat, and I'm going to change that to 120. So let's see if Google can calculate all this for me. 5,000 times 1 plus my 0.05 divided by 12 to the 120th power. And what do we end up with? The same answer. So a fast and easy way, making sure that all your parentheses are correct, and change this here to a caret. And I actually would change this to a 120. But you can copy this whole line. You can plug it into your Google search engine, and you can have Google calculate. The nice thing about using a calculator and keeping all of the steps on the Google calculator is that it will keep all your decimals for you, and that is really handy. You don't lose any decimals, you don't make any mistakes in copying things.